Welcome to episode 177 of Missing Pieces. This is my weekly audio journal where I sit down and talk about what I'm up to and what I'm into. And today is a rare episode. Not necessarily for you, but for me it is, because today is a Thursday recording. And that is because today is what I like to call Thursday Friday. It's where you go into work or school on Thursday and realize you have the next day off, so you get to treat the entire day as though it's a Friday. And that's exactly what's happening for Clarkman today, because tomorrow is a teacher in service day, which unfortunately means that Mrs. Brickitect, or Cody as she's known in some circles, she has to go in tomorrow, but Clarkman is off, and that means tomorrow is Guys Day for us. And Clarkman has some things planned for us, and one of those things is not me recording a podcast. I've been trying to do these during the week so I don't take time out of our weekend, and since tomorrow is effectively an extra weekend day, this got moved up a little bit. But we're still 6 days out from the last episode, so we still got a lot to talk about, including some things that we're going to be doing tomorrow. And I know for a fact that Clarkman is planning on going to Arby's, because we got a gift card a little while back from a viewer in the mail, and we haven't used it yet, so tomorrow's a great opportunity for that. And we also got a pretty substantial super chat from Ray, who actually has some listener feedback in here. And Clarkman has plans of using that to buy some Lego Star Wars sets. So I feel like Arby's and possibly Walmart or Target are in our future for tomorrow. But whatever Clarkman wants to do, I'm totally in on that. So I'm very excited about doing that. Something you may have noticed if you're watching this right now, I'm just realizing the setup's kind of messed up, right? Like the camera's not exactly where it used to be. Microphone, I made a little bit of adjustments to that. Hopefully you can hear me. If not, I'm going to be a very sad boy when I'm done recording this and it's just my mouth moving with nothing happening. I will literally cry because I can't do this twice. God bless Mrs. Brickitect, who somehow has to go in and present herself 6 times a day to classes. I think about that and I'm like, dude, I do Missing Pieces once and I'm like, okay, I did it. I could never replicate it. I couldn't do any better. That was it. Maybe like a second time through, like you do a rehearsal, then the second time's good. But like third, fourth, fifth, sixth, I couldn't do it. So if you're a teacher or know a teacher out there, make sure you appreciate them, because they're the heroes trying to teach kids that maybe aren't super motivated to be there, but let's hope that you are. And if you're a student, just know that what your teachers are doing are trying to help you. So put as much into it as you can. That's my public service announcement for today. But anyways, last weekend, I was messing around with the setup here. I was playing around with my camera, doing some different things, hooking my computer stuff up differently, messing with the microphone. And like, I've got some plans on things, including possibly switching out my desk and getting a standing desk, which would be really cool. And that was kind of the thing that was spurring this on. And then I started going into the YouTube rabbit hole of microphones. And I'm like thinking about upgrading the one that I have. If you wonder what I'm using for right now, it's a Blue Yeti microphone, which I think sounds pretty good. I haven't had anyone complain, but I haven't had anyone compliment me either on the quality. So I think it's okay. But there is a microphone out there that I'm like really coveting. The problem is it's $400, plus you have to buy this interface that goes with it that's also costly. It's $100 for that. So all in, it would be a $500 investment into this podcast. And like from a financial standpoint, like if we're running this as a business and you're my board of directors, you would probably advise me not to do that, because I probably make $500 a year off of this podcast. Not that I do this for the money. I have one ad that runs in the beginning of this, at least until November, when YouTube has their way with it, and you see 36 ad breaks in this, because that's coming probably. But for now, and supposedly, according to YouTube, I will make 5% more money, and I'm only going to lose 1% of you. Only 1 out of 100 people listening to this will click away because they have to listen to 75 ad breaks. So sorry if you're that person, but the rest of you, enjoy whatever it is that YouTube's pushing on you. Maybe by then, though, we can get this amazing microphone that I probably don't need, but it's definitely on my wanted list. So I'm contemplating it. I look at it as an investment, because this is something that I enjoy doing. I intend to continue podcasting for as long as I'm able to do so. Something I do every week. There's 1,000 people that tune into this on YouTube on average each week, and then there's about 300 people that listen to this in audio format each week. So there's 1,300 people out there that could benefit greatly. Well, we don't know if it's greatly or not, but maybe benefit somewhat from me making this investment. And I've spent probably a lot more money than that on things that didn't have nearly as great return. Looking at you, Storage Room of Doom, and all the Lego sets in there. And that's like the weird thing. Like, I don't think anything of, well, I do think something of like spending $100 on a Lego set or $200 if I'm getting a gift with purchase and stuff like that. But then it comes down to something like this. And I'm like, well, I don't need to necessarily do that. And the truth is I don't. Like, this is more than sufficient for what I do. I'm not a professional. I'm just a guy sitting at his computer in his basement on a Thursday afternoon talking about his week. But boy, wouldn't it be awesome to have some really good microphone. If you're wondering what it is, the microphone I'm looking at, it's a Shure SM7B. It's like the podcast microphone. So maybe. I'm also thinking about upgrading my camera setup. There's this new camera coming out in November that I'm like really excited about, and it works with my lenses that I have. But then there's this other camera out now. If you want to know what I do on YouTube, I look at camera reviews and audio and microphones, and that's literally how I live my life, which has enabled me, and this is going to be coming a little later, but I might as well talk about it now. I've quit TikTok. I'm like out on TikTok. And I know some of you guys, girls, you're probably like heavily invested in TikTok. Maybe it's a big part of your week. For me, I just like stopped using the app, cold turkey, if you will. And then after a while, I was like, hey, I haven't been on TikTok in a while. And I realized my life really wasn't any different. Like, I didn't feel like I was missing out on anything. I do think that the For You page is really cool on TikTok, where it's like you're scrolling through and sometimes you'll get like an idea of something and like something you'll come across. But it's very rare that, and I honestly feel like I'm playing the slot machine. I'm trying to like constantly scroll through until I hit that winner. There's not many people on there that like substantially changed my life. Like somebody that I need to watch every single day. There's like maybe 2 people that I found on TikTok and all the hours that I've been on there that I'm like, man, I'm really wondering what that person's up to today. And usually it's people like sharing their life. But it just goes to show me, like, short form content, you don't make that connection like you do in a long form video or something like this. So I don't know. I haven't been on TikTok, and I'm like, do I really need to go back? There's so much on YouTube. I know their algorithm doesn't serve you very well, but lately my homepage, especially when you start looking up things like all this camera stuff, they're just flooding me. And I'm like, oh, that camera versus this camera. How's the audio of this? What lenses work with this? What's the best vlogging setup? Do I have to use a microphone? Which microphone? Everybody's got to have hobbies though, right? You probably have something in your life where you're totally into it. Just let me have that. So needless to say, you might see some changes here. Maybe a standing desk, maybe a new microphone, maybe a different camera setup, maybe some different lighting. I don't know. I do have some lighting over here. That'll be in a... Wow, being a weatherman is hard. Right there. If you're listening to this, I'm trying to point, but everything's mirrored. Right there. Yeah, just move my whole body. I will be in a No 0 Days video coming up, which I am still recording. So good for me. I'm starting to see some of my days being very similar. It's like wake up, edit, work out, and or take dog for a walk, eat lunch, do Lego videos. People come home, eat dinner, watch something at night, which, is totally fine with me because I'm doing what I want to do. Speaking of what I want to do, let's just go back. I'll tell you about some highlights, particularly of last weekend, starting with last Friday after the last episode was recorded on its usual Friday schedule. I took Roxy Bear for a walk that day. I'm starting to remember all this. And it was beautiful outside. I just took her for a walk down the street by our house. And then I came off on this other road and we went down like this path that was near the woods. And it was all good. And I realized we were pretty far away. And I'm like, oh crap, we got to walk back and it's all uphill. And, I can handle it because I'm shredded. I'm a stud. Don't look at the scale. And I was like, dude, Roxy Bear, she's got to like make this trip back. So we're walking back and she was like, I was worried. Like she started slowing down like a lot. And I was like, maybe we should just take a break. But then we got pretty close. There was even this guy that was outside. He's like, does your dog want some water? I'm like, we literally live like 2 houses up. And we made it back and she was fine. But it made me realize if we're going to go on these walks that are not on level ground and we have to do some uphill, I definitely need to make sure that we turn around before we get too far away. Because for 12 years old, she's doing great. Like today we walked, I think 1.5 miles, but it was all flat. That was less, but it was downhill and uphill, which is a little bit harder. So going to be careful with that. Got home, Cody came home, and then we ended up going, I surprised Clark Man with something that I got for him. It's called the Hot Wheels Super 6-Lane Raceway. And we watched these videos called Junkyard Joust, where it's these Hot Wheels that go down tracks and they kind of compete with trying to knock each other over and off the track and such. And we're like totally into it. And he watches a lot of other Hot Wheels content, including he's into like little Hot Wheels Mario Kart figures and stuff like that now. So I found this thing that is it's like a downhill drag strip that's 6 lanes wide. and there's like this little button that you press and the cars all race down. And when they get to the end at the bottom of the track, after racing for 8 feet, it tells you which one won. They go through like a gate essentially, and it tells you like, was it lane 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I bought this for him. It was an expensive thing. It was $100. You know, I would debate way more on spending $100 for my computer setup than I would spending that on Clarkman to have a lot of fun with, which is exactly what we did all weekend, literally all weekend, racing Hot Wheels cars, like hundreds of Hot Wheels cars. We did this thing called Mail Time. Some of you might remember it. And Hot Wheels were one of those things a lot of people would send us. So Clark has an entire Sterilite thing just filled with Hot Wheels. And we're having this ultimate tournament where it's like we race them, and then the winner goes into the pool with the winners, and then we're going to have like this ultimate tournament to find out exactly who is the fastest Hot Wheel. I think it's the coolest thing that we could ever do. So I'm like totally into it. And it was awesome surprising with that. And he just had so much fun. Like I had no idea it would be such a hit. The problem is Cody was a little upset, not because I spent the money on it, but because she thought that might be a good thing based on how much he loved it. That would have been a good thing to have Clark, if he wanted it, put it on his list to Santa Claus, and then Santa Claus could have potentially bought it for Christmas, and it obviously would have saved us money because the elves would have built it and then they would have delivered it. So I kind of agree. I think that would have been a great Christmas gift, but trust me, I know toys, and I know there'll be plenty of things that he can ask Santa Claus for. This was something that, like, I don't know, it just felt like the right time. So you'll see some of that. I think he even shot some video on it and stuff too. So I love that. Another thing that I loved that we did Friday night, first time ever going to Hobby Lobby. And Cody really, like, lowered my expectations of what Hobby Lobby was going to be, or Hoblob, as it's known in some circles. She was like, you know, it's just decorations and fall stuff and things like that. Like, I pictured a place for like old women to go. And when we walked in, that's exactly what I thought it was, because there was a lot of that, aisles and aisles of just fall decorations and things. But then you get to the very back, there's this one aisle that's completely made for me and Clarkman. Inside this aisle, they have all kinds of Gundam kits, model kits, cars, planes. They've got Thomas stuff. They got trains, train kits, train layouts, like little trees and stuff you put in. But then I find that they have Estes rockets there. And I'm like, dude, we just got into this hobby and they have everything we need there. So I ended up buying a little something. I bought a parachute to replace the one that got burnt, if you watched our Estes video. I bought some more engines. I bought some wadding. And it was like everything I needed right there. And it like made me appreciate so much having like a hobby store. Because that's honestly what I think it should be. Like Hobby Lobby. They have all the craft stuff there and art stuff. But like, where's my RC stuff? You know what I mean? Like, that's a hobby. Where's my Lego stuff? They did have some other like building toys there, but no Lego. So that was a little disappointing. Is the store better than Kmart though? Because that's where Hobby Lobby took over. They took over my beloved Kmart. Is it better than Kmart? Kmart had Lego and electronics. At least they did. I mean, Kmart was going downhill for a long period of time. And then they stopped selling a lot of those things. And they had a toy aisle. I'm going to say Kmart was better because it was just like more variety and things I'm interested in. But this one aisle in there is just amazing. Like, that's the only aisle that I needed out of the entire store. So I'm going to give the Hoblobs a thumbs up. I'm definitely going to be going back there. The Gundam stuff is, I really want to get into that. I have a couple of them. If you don't know what Gundam is, imagine like, you never see those model kits you open up and everything's like on sprues, like those little like model cars that have like all the parts you have to break off and then cut. It's that, but the instructions of these are really incredible. The fit and the quality is impeccable. And when you're done with these things, they're not just display pieces. They also are like action figures. They move around and they're amazing. So I think Hoblob might be a place for me and Clark to go in the future. And I'd love to share some of my stuff there. And maybe I'll make like a little Gundam building video with I'll do it like with my brand new microphone, all ASMR, like now I'm putting on the leg of the Gundam. You know, it's like one of those things. Probably not. I don't want any weirdos coming out. But that's like something that I'm into, was the Hoblobs. After that, you thought it couldn't get any better, right? Like, we have the Hot Wheels thing. We've got the Hoblob victory. What could get better than that? How about going to dinner at Five Guys? Yes, we picked up hamburgers from Five Guys, the best I'm not going to call it fast. Well, it is fast food. They're as fast as McDonald's, but the prices are not as good. But the quality, like the prices are 3 times as much, but the quality is 20 times as much. So you have to decide, do you want to save money and have like mediocre, or do you want to have like the best burgers in the game? Five Guys is that. I haven't been to Whataburger or In-N-Out though, so give me some time to make it to the West Coast and we'll try some of those things. Got my usual. I'm a simple man. Hamburger, no cheese, pickles, onions, ketchup. That's all I do. The double. Their French fries, saltiest darn fries you'll ever have in your life. You're going to need a gallon of water that night before you go to bed because your mouth's going to be ruined. I think I need to go back there. I need to go there right now. Everyone just quit the podcast. Let's all do a community trip to Five Guys. Thank you for not sponsoring us. You'll see a Five Guys ad now in November if you're watching this later. Imagine YouTube gets that good, you know. Weekend was a huge letdown. I was planning to go to the flea market, something that we do every year at this time, and I hunt for Lego. This year, I was going to do that, but I was like, we have all this Lego as it is. I've got all this yard sale Lego that I'm processing. I'm just going to look for other toys and action figures and whatever other crazy stuff we can find. That was the plan, but unfortunately, that didn't work because the weather was absolute crap. Of all the weekends, like this weekend's going to be gorgeous. The weekend before last was gorgeous. Last weekend, the one time I needed the weather to work with me, Saturday and Sunday was miserable. So we stayed home. We raced a lot of Hot Wheels, and we played this game that I talked about last week, that if you have another person in your life that likes video games along with you, you need to try a game called It Takes Two, which is a rhyme. It Takes Two is a cooperative game. It's on Game Pass. And to get through the level, it's like a platforming, jumping, making it through. You have to work together and solve puzzles together collectively. And it's so good. Clark and I played, I want to say, we're probably about halfway through the game. It's very long. We played a little bit each day before school. And then I think it was Sunday, we just cranked out a ton of it. So while you were listening to this episode, we were probably playing It Takes Two. And it's so fun. And I'm loving the fact that I'm getting Clark, I don't know if this is good or bad, but he's played Minecraft so much, and he plays this game called Universe Sandbox, and then he started playing this game called Trail Makers. So he's kind of expanding out a little bit. But I want him to try to play a game that's not just a sandbox game, but a game where you're working towards a goal and striving towards it, and sometimes failing, but working and getting better to accomplish it, and then ultimately having success. Because what he likes to do, and there's nothing wrong with this, but he likes to just sit down and just mess around in a game, just play and be creative, which is good. But I think there's something special about, saving Peach from Bowser, as opposed to just making a level. But to each his own, and maybe that's just me putting something on him that's not necessary. But that's kind of I don't know, kind of what I want. So we did a lot of that. I've been working on organizing my Lego, of course. I got the Brickatech store going. I've been doing that throughout the week, as I mentioned. So that has been successful. Haven't made a bunch of sales on there. It's really weird. The store, I think it's because I have a young audience. I have tons of views on all my eBay Lego listings, like a few hundred views and a few watchers, but no sales. Whereas my other stuff, there'll be 5 views and then there'll be a sale. So it's all these people are going to my Lego store and looking at it, and then they're just meh, okay. So it's just odd. But the prices are right, and I think over time as I build it up and I get some feedback. Right now, I sold 2 things. I still have no feedback. I want to message people and be like, bro, give me some feedback. I need something to let people know that I'm not a scammer. That's where we're at on that. So that's been my big thing with Lego, and I've been enjoying that. I'm actually looking forward to the weather cooling down and me being stuck in my studio working on all this stuff. I love this space, and I just want to make it really good if I can, including selling off stuff, because I like doing that. And it's nice to make that money to repurpose for other things, which I'm going to do. All the Lego money is going to stay Lego money. So I'm going to take it, and anything that I make, I'm going to then reinvest in Lego. And then when I'm done with whatever that is, I'm going to sell it, then reinvest it, and just keep flipping it. It's flipping the same money and over again. I think that's how Wall Street works. Sort of. What else happened this week? So we got some Watch-A-Tech news. I mentioned I quit TikTok. I did mention some YouTube rabbit holes. I guess I'll talk about that now. The one YouTube rabbit hole that I remember that I went down was this thing where it was these people filming themselves working at McDonald's like working the French fryer. And it was fascinating to watch. Like they almost had like a first person shot. It was like an FPV type thing of someone working the all of the fryers at McDonald's. And I can describe how this works to you now because I saw it. I would have never known otherwise. But this must have been an incredibly busy place because this guy had like these 4 vats of fryers with fries inside of them going that are all counting down at different times, right? And then to the right of that, he's got all of his little empty fry baskets and then this hopper that has fries that come down out of it. So when one of the fry fryers are done, he takes that out and he dumps it into like this tray. Then he has like this salt sprinkler thing that goes on it. And then he has like this little shovel tool that perfectly fits into the top of a fry box, and he scoops the fries up and then they all fall down vertically into the fry box. If you're wondering how they get them in there that way, that's how they do it. And then he puts it out like for people to grab, the other workers there. So he's doing that. He's putting the fries in there. And then once that's empty, he comes over and he gets more fries and then dumps it in there. But then to refill the fries that are in the fryer, because they're now empty they're empty like baskets, he has to go take the other baskets that are full of fries and then put them in the fryer. And it's like this huge process. And I was thinking like, this is kind of like fun. Like if you're doing that, it's just this constant high pressure, fast paced game where you're like filling fries, cooking fries, emptying fries. It's like the game Overcooked basically in real life. But then I started thinking like, okay, you do that for like an hour. It's fun and like crazy. But then like, what happens when you're doing that on like Thursday and you've been doing it all week? Like, does it get like, is it terrible then? If anybody's worked at McDonald's or in fast food, let me know how that process was. Because it looked exciting and I had fun watching it. But I think ultimately, like, I don't know. I think over time it'd be like, oh God, I can't do any more fries. Maybe they move people around, but he was doing a great job. Like whatever they were paying this guy to do those fries, they should double it because he was busting it in there. So that was my YouTube rabbit hole. But we did some watch-a-tecting. Took a break from One Piece. We still have 2 episodes left to finish that series out. I love One Piece. So good. We watched Ahsoka. 4 episodes of that. Left off on this like crazy cliffhanger moment. There is 5th episode out now, but we didn't get a chance to watch that yet. Ahsoka is really good. I love all the Star Wars shows. Like they're just so much fun to watch. This one though, you really would benefit from watching a cartoon or animated show called Star Wars Rebels before watching this. There's so much that kind of goes off of that. And I regret not watching that beforehand, especially because I think Clark will really like Rebels. And I think he would like the Clone Wars too. So I think once One Piece is done, we're ultimately going to go back and watch those Star Wars animated shows because I think we could both like really get into it. And there's a lot of Clone Wars episodes. And I think a lot of the Rebels show too. So then we'll have all that covered. And then we can like move on to the next thing. But we did watch a movie this week, family movie night. Actually, over the course of 2 nights, because we go to bed pretty early, we watched The Little Mermaid, the new live action one. And unlike One Piece, I haven't seen too much of the anime, so I can't say if like One Piece is better or worse than the anime, but to me it's like really good. Little Mermaid, after growing up with the animated Little Mermaid, and like really, I think that's like one of the pinnacles of animation, and the songs in it and everything are so good. So I had high expectations for the live action one. It didn't do it for me. I didn't like some of the changes that they made. I didn't like some of the songs they added in were kind of cool, but they changed things from the animation, and I wish they would have kept it the same but just made it live action. And I guess maybe it's because I love the original one so much from the early 90s. Like that was my first Disney movie. Like I still remember getting the toys at McDonald's. I had the flounder that squirted water. I had Eric that was in a little yellow boat. That was awesome. I had Ursula, who was like this, one of those things you could stick to the wall of the bathtub. It was such a good line. And this didn't have that appeal to me. And Mrs. Cody, as she's known in some circles, she agreed to. She's obsessed with the original one. Clark Mann liked the original one better too. So go into this knowing that it's heavily inspired by the original, but not nearly as good as the animated one. And I guess I'm left just kind of thinking like, was this really necessary? Did they have to make a live action version of this? Did they have to do it with Aladdin? Did they have to do it with Lion King? How about you give us something original? I mean, Disney's pretty good at coming up with ideas or stealing ideas in most cases. Why not like do something new? I guess it's because it can be scary having an original idea and maybe it flopping, and money is so so needed in these studios that they have to take the safe route. And it's like Little Mermaid worked, it'll work again. And maybe it did. I don't know the results from the box office or what people thought. I just saw it was on there when I was about ready to watch Ahsoka. We didn't have an episode to watch, so I was like, let's give it a shot. And I don't regret watching it. It's just not as good as the original, but that could, again, come from me, like, really loving that. Maybe One Piece people feel the same way. They watch the Netflix thing, they're like, no, this isn't right. That's not how it happened. You can't change it. Maybe they feel the same way. It's just, I guess it depends what generation you're in. I do think that this movie, if you have a young girl, I think it's really empowering for a young girl. And some of the changes they made in the movie are that way too. Like, particularly like towards the end, there's something that happens that's like Ariel is the boss. So yeah, I would recommend watching it. Just know that it's not going to be as good as the original if you're totally into that. Speaking of not being good, something I look forward to every single year at this very time, the Apple event. And I had high hopes this year because for me, I'm in the rarity here, I think, just like this Thursday episode. I upgrade my phone every year. And I know that's like crazy, but I'm always looking for like the best camera in any phone because I use my phone for like almost all of my vlog videos, pretty much like 99% of them, because it's discreet. It's something you can put in your pocket. I want to have something that has like good audio, good video. I love the lenses, how you can switch between them for different occasions. And like going out and filming, like say we're on vacation, filming with a giant camera with microphone and all that stuff is just not convenient. Now being at home, I've been doing some experimenting with no zero days, and I think being at home, I like having a better camera and a good one, especially for indoors and low light like I'm in now. Like this camera is doing really well. If I was filming this with my iPhone, it wouldn't look nearly as good. Again, I'm more interested in quality than probably anyone watching my stuff is. But every year that this event happens, I always look forward to it because it's like I'm ready for that next advancement in camera technology. I don't care about the phone at all, just the cameras. And I think maybe that's the same for a lot of people. But this year I was going in with low expectations because I heard it's not going to be much of an upgrade. And it turns out that that's exactly right. Most of the event was focused on them becoming carbon neutral by 2030 and using recycled materials, which is great and all. But like they led the show off with the Apple Watch, which seemingly isn't really changing at all except for getting a faster processor. And I was actually looking at maybe getting a new Apple Watch because mine is the SE2, which works fine, but Cody's, hers is all messed up. So I was like, we either need to get you a new watch or maybe I'll look into getting like a Garmin and then giving you this one because she likes the smaller. I want something bigger and with more like activity tracking and such. And I think I might be jumping ship from Apple Watch to Garmin, which it sucks because I'm going to lose a couple like Apple exclusive things with this, like using Siri and stuff. But they kind of let me down with the Series 9, which is what they're on. And then the iPhone 15, I would ideally like to get the iPhone 15 Pro if it was worthy of an upgrade, but there's not much there. Like the last phone that I skipped was the 12 because they did exactly what they're doing this year. The Pro, which is what I use, was not really an upgrade. It was the Pro Max, had like a better camera system or whatever. And I don't really like the Max size phones. So I was just like, I'm just going to sit this out because what happens is everything that they do on the Pro Max and the Pros, for example, that gets trickled down the next year into like the lower lines. Like the Pro Max thing became the Pro and then the Pro stuff becomes like the regular phone. Like this year they're getting Dynamic Island. If you're not an Apple fan, you probably don't care or know anything about this, but I think most of you are that are listening because you're on Apple Podcasts. That's where most people are listening at. I was just hoping for more because like it just feels like we're just crawling ahead at a snail's pace when it comes to innovation and technology. I mean, the iPhone that we're using now is essentially the same thing that came out when Steve Jobs held up the first iPhone. They just gotten better cameras, faster processors, bigger screens, but there hasn't been like a leap. I will say that Samsung and Google are kind of doing that with folding phones. That's not necessarily something that I want though. And I guess Apple will be doing this with the Vision Pro, which is like their VR AR headset that's coming out, I think like later this year or next year. I think it's next year at this point. So there is that, but I'm just kind of like bored, I'm bored with it. So there's not much of a reason to upgrade my phone this year unless like I'm going to wait and see what the reviewers have to say, all the tech people on YouTube. Once, I think next Friday, you can pre-order the phone and they'll have it like right away. I'll watch and see how the 15 Pro Max compares to the 14. And if it's justifiable, I will trade mine in to get that, because Apple does have a good trade-in system where I think I'm going to get $570 for my 14 Pro, which is here. Is it worth $500? It's like the same situation with the microphone. Is it worth spending $500 to get like that little bit of upgrade? I would say the microphone would be, as I punch my microphone, it'd be a better upgrade than the phone. But then again, I use my phone for pretty much everything I do. I'm one of the few people buying an iPhone that literally makes a living from their iPhone. If anyone was going to upgrade, I would be the one to upgrade, right? So with me, like, contemplating this, Apple's going to be hurting, I think. Like, why else would anyone do it if it wasn't for that little bit of a camera thing? Because your phone's fast enough. If you have, heck, like if I wasn't doing YouTube, I'd probably still have my 11 Pro. And assuming the battery was still okay on that thing would be doing everything I needed to do. Like, phones are fast. They're all fast. They do anything you need to do. And probably all you're doing is watching YouTube, watching TikTok, listening to music, making phone calls, texting people. That's probably all you're doing on your phone. Maybe you're doing some gaming here and there. I don't know. But I do know that I have Apple stock because I'm a fanboy. It's something that I believe in, and I like their direction. And as the event was going on, which was a beautiful, like, film-wise, it was a beautiful event. In fact, I watched a YouTube video, another rabbit hole I went down to, which was like how they filmed it and all the transitions they did and how amazingly it was shot, which it was beautiful. But I was watching their stock plummet in real time as I'm watching this, because there wasn't the excitement or the hype. There was nothing there. It was just, well, we come out with something every year, and here's this year's thing. It wasn't like, look at these crazy upgrades. And that being said, like, some people, unlike me, if you have an iPhone 12 right now, looking at the 15 Pro or 15 or anything is like, wow, that's awesome. That's crazy. I need that. But coming from a 14 Pro, and again, like, you shouldn't be upgrading every year. It's dumb to be doing that. I'm just kind of like, meh, not blown away. So that's my thoughts on it. Maybe by next Friday, when I start seeing the reviews from people, my thoughts will change on it, but I'm not rushing out to like pre-order one or anything. I don't think the demand's going to be that high. I think these things are going to sit. They're not going to go on sale, unfortunately. It's not like Lego that goes 20% off. Apple is like, they got their stuff. I have got all of our watches on sale though. So maybe I'll wait to do that too. I'll wait to get Cody a new watch. I could get her one for Christmas, which is what I did last year. But we'll see. So yeah, first world problems, right? Something I'm contemplating. So all these tech improvements and advancements, I'm like considering. It could be an expensive fourth quarter for me, but that's okay. That's pretty much it for my week, though. That's everything that I got into and up to, I suppose. I'm sure there's more, but you'll see it in some No Zero Days vlogs as I go. We're going to get into listener feedback now. I had some nice comments come through from last week. Some people still celebrating the fact that Missing Pieces is back, which it is, and the No Zero Days. So yeah, we're doing the things you like to do, hopefully. This comment here, the name's gone. I don't know what happened to the name, but this says, "Hey Greg," maybe I can find it here. Bear with me here. It's from Mr. Panzer Dragoon. I don't know why is that who it's from? I knew he had one of them. Found myself in a situation. Yeah, Mr. Panzer Dragon. He says, "Hey Greg, I always find myself in that situation where if I'm at home working, I just want to get out of the house and do something. And when I'm out of the house doing something, I can't wait to get back home and start sorting through the car boot / clearance Lego scores. Can't win. I very much took that all or nothing approach and made the leap of making Lego selling my full-time job a couple of years ago. My Bricklink store is now one of the 10 biggest in the UK, no plug intended, and while I'm over the moon with how organized my setup is and how successful the store has been, it does take up all those key categories you mentioned of time, money, space, etc. Thankfully, I don't have a wife to worry about or tell me off, and then some. This leaves me with little or no chance of being able to build my own mocks, expand my own collection, go on holidays, etc. Or even when I just get away from Lego for a few days, or just get away from Lego for a few days for that matter. Bricklink is a lot of hard work and requires a lot of investment with, at times, feels little or no reward. eBay, despite its faults, definitely gives you faster results and is far easier to manage at your scale, especially with Clark still being young. And maybe looking into the future if Greg's farm does happen. But you know what? I wouldn't change it for anything. The community, like on your channel here is amazing. The satisfaction of being able to help complete people's creations and ideas and sharing the knowledge I've built up while doing this is something that no paid job could ever do. It's great now to be able to share that knowledge on your live streams when I can make them. Who knew that watching someone do something you've pretty much literally just done yourself would be so enjoyable to watch? Keep up the great work. Well, thank you, sir. I love the fact that you jumped into doing something that you love and you're passionate about and you're making a living doing that. That's awesome. This also makes me think about something. You mentioned about how hard it is and how much work it is. And I have no doubts. Like, I have so much respect for Bricklink guys and girls that do that for a living because, well, first of all, I'm jealous of your organization because every Bricklink seller that I've ever seen, and this is because you have to be this way, is super organized. Everything is right where it needs to be. And I have dreams of having my collection to be as organized as that. I have heard from some people that say, like, my store is organized, but my personal collection disorganized. But what your comment makes me think about, and something that I want to bring up, and maybe somebody out there can relate to this. I'm not saying that you're in this situation by any means, but it's the concept of taking a hobby, something you love and enjoy doing, and making that your job. Does it still stay fun? Because we've had this conversation before about, like, is a hobby a job? Like, I love doing Lego stuff. I make videos about it. That's like my thing, and I love doing it. I make money doing that. Cool. When does it become something where, like, you can't take any time off? You need a break. You can't take a vacation. You have all this weighing down on you. I've never really felt that way because there's not like that. Like, I don't sell physical products typically outside of my little Lego thing, which I have like 7 items listed. I make videos. And if I want to take a week to go somewhere, that's fine. You know, it just keeps rolling. It keeps generating, right? But when you have a Bricklink store, those orders start piling up and you got to keep replenishing the stock. You got to keep putting stuff in there. It's an incredible amount of work. As long as it's something you're enjoying and having fun with, I'd say more power to you. But I worry about people that take something that they love and make it their job, because sometimes it can be too much. And sometimes it's like, oh gosh, you know, I used to really love building Lego sets and everything with Lego, but now it's just like all I do is pack these orders. And I think about people that play video games for a living. You know, you maybe pop off on YouTube because you loved Call of Duty, for example, and you're like, man, this game's so much fun. And then it's like, that starts doing well, and you're like, okay, I can play Call of Duty for a living. But then you find yourself playing Call of Duty 8 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it's like, I hate this game. I hate my life, but what else can I do? This is what I've fallen into, and now I can't even switch games because my whole audience is Call of Duty fans. I hope to never fall into that position. But I just want to say all of this as a warning to anyone out there that thinks like, oh, if I could just do my hobby for a job, that'd be the greatest thing. Sometimes I think it is helpful to have that separation. You know, lots of people like having that ability to go to a place, to do what they're told to do from an employer, to not have to think about like, what am I doing right? What am I doing wrong? Could I make a better video? Should I make a video on this? Should I be doing this direction? Some people just like having that called out for them. To get a paycheck on Friday, and then you come home over the weekend and you do the thing you love to do without any thoughts of the whole work thing and having it blend into your actual life or going overboard with that. Some people thrive in that. Like Cody said, like she wouldn't want to be self-employed. She likes going in and having like what she does, like with a schedule and having things planned. I feel like a bird that was once in a cage that has been let out, and now I'm flying around and soaring. Welcome to soaring. And I could never go back in the cage again. Like, I would rather die. Like, I would rather die than do that again. Rather be homeless. Like, I thought about that. Like, if I ever lost everything, I would do anything it takes to not have, like, a regular job. I would find a way. I think maybe my first thing, I would do my other dream that I want to do. Well, there's 2 dream jobs I have out there. 1, dog walker. I'll walk your dog. I would love to do that. I love to be a dog walker because I just love pets. I love animals. I could be a pet sitter. I'd be like the best pet sitter. I'll pet your cat. I'll be a pet sitter. I would love to have that where I don't even care what makes him. I just go there and like take care of your animals. It's a big responsibility though. Your cat dies while you're gone. It's my fault. He gets away. Your parrot flies out the window. Your dog runs away on the leash, bites a kid. I don't know. I would love any of those jobs, but my other job, like one that you could actually make a living from, my dream job, if you're wondering what that is, I want to be a over-the-road truck driver. And I want to be a person that documents. And there's probably channels out there that do this, and I'd probably love to watch them. But you get in your truck and you're driving, to another state to pick up a trailer or whatever. I would document my experience doing that, showing like crazy drivers on the road, talking about things that I'm like into while I'm doing it. Maybe doing tours of truck stops, all kinds of things. Whatever you get into each day, I would be like documenting. I think that'd be so freaking cool to do and to experience and see. And then like it'd have to be one of those ones where you're traveling different places all the time, because you couldn't just do the same route. You'd have to do like different stuff. I can make a whole channel and like a business out of that. So that's one thing I would absolutely go to work for someone for, or maybe have my own truck, So if this whole YouTube thing doesn't work out for me, check out Truckin' Greg. Greg's Truck. If Greg's Farm doesn't work out, or Greg's World, or Brickatect, Greg's Truckin'. Yeah, Greg's Truckin' sounds good. I could get hats made up and t-shirts. Dude, let's do that. So, I'm not yet 40. There's still a whole future for me. Maybe once Clark grows up, I'll get the missus. She'll be my passenger, and we'll just go long hauling across the dusty trails of the United States. I do it in video games, and just doing it virtually. Like I play American Truck Simulator. It's like the most popular thing that I stream when I used to stream on my gaming channel when I had the time to do such things. People love just to watch me drive a digital truck across California and Oregon. That's what I did. So guaranteed I can make that work in real life too. How did we get here? I guess we're just talking about things that we're interested in and hobbies becoming jobs and dreams and things. This would be a great conversation for next week. Even if you're over on the Apple Podcast, get your little booty over here to YouTube. Tell me, this is the conversation for next week, if you made it this far. Tell me what your dream job is. I think that'd be fascinating. And why? Tell me what your dream job is and why. It can be something that you would make piles of money from, or no money at all, like a pet sitter type thing that I want to do. What's your dream job and why? Tell me what that is. We'll see how many people made it this far in the conversation. Next one. Thank you for that comment, though. That took us. See, I love listener feedback for that reason, because that took us down a whole nother avenue. I was done with everything I had to think about, and then you put us over onto that, and that was cool. Thank you. Next one comes from Matt. He says, "Hey, Greg, thanks for keeping the podcast. Just an idea. I noticed in one of your classic Greg's World videos, you had a vest that holds the GoPro camera. Would you ever consider wearing that in a roller coaster or two so we can see your full experience? If you knew how many times I've gone places and wished that I had that in my camera, I need to just like have a little backpack on. And I have a camera bag, by the way, which is filled with old cameras that I don't use. They need to go on eBay so I can invest in my business here. And that's been like one of my things I want to do. So hopefully I can update you about that next week. I have a camera bag that's filled with stuff. If I just even had just the smallest backpack that always had my GoPro or my Osmo action camera and the chest strap and a couple other accessories, I should just take that everywhere I go. Because I remember like doing go-karting, and I would love if you could see what I'm seeing, or if I wore it on bumper cars, or if I did it on the roller coasters, anywhere. Heck, even just walking around having the chest strap on, you could just get a first person shot, almost like I was working at McDonald's on the fryers. You could just get a first person shot of all the things that I'm doing. I think that would be really cool. So that reminded me, I need to make that backpack. I should make a little video showing like what's in my camera bag. Even though I don't want like a big one, I just want like a little thing that I can just sling on and have. I should find a way to put it into that camel pack that I have that has the water strap on it. Because then you have water or whatever you want to put in there. You could have like your camera equipment and all that good stuff. I think that'd be pretty sick. Thank you for the recommendation, Matt. Next comes from Tracy, repeat offender as well. She just says, I think with shorts on YouTube, we're talking about like YouTube shorts as we sometimes do. They can be a slower way to gain a following, but if you are consistent, people will be drawn to you. I find that as I see the same creator shorts over time, I realize I want to see more of their content and may assume I'm already subscribed. So I would keep them up. Little tidbits to either bring in new people or connect with current viewers. Yeah, I feel like they're a little easier to digest. I haven't looked this week. I didn't post any shorts at all. I'll have to see how the TikToks and the Instagrams are doing with my posts. I think maybe, particularly with TikTok, they could be some things that kind of build over time. So we'll have to see how that goes. But yeah, I feel like oftentimes I have too much to say to fit into 1 minute. So I find myself kind of, look at this podcast, for example. I find myself going into more long form content. Next one comes from Ronnie, my buddy. It says, have you fellas looked into the One Piece collectible card game? It's new and very popular and constantly sold out, so I thought I'd mention it since you enjoyed the show. Haven't seen or heard of the card game, but at Hoblobs, they did have the action figures there. They didn't have Monkey, but they had some of the other guys. Like, I think they had Zoro there. And I was like, dude, this would be really cool to get into these. So there might be some One Piece action coming. Clarkman is currently working on making One Piece minifigs, custom ones, so we might be able to share that too. And he's like totally into that stuff. And it's just awesome to have a show like that we can share. Speaking of sharing, I should say these last two comments here are just really like overly like nice and generous and positive towards me. And as hesitant as I am to share stuff like this, because I feel like if I were listening, I'd be like, well, Greg, you just tooting your own horn here. I do think it's important to share these. So we've got two of them. I think this one's from Panzer as well, unless I'm crediting with multiple people. Maybe something. Oh, that was from DB Bricks. Okay, I credited the wrong person. He's probably getting all kinds of fired up. DB Bricks gave me the situation one. This one is from Panzer, who I credited with the last one. DB Bricks. Check him out on the UK Bricklink site. I got to read this one to you because he gave me a compliment here, and so for some reason when I was copying and pasting, I don't have a very good system here. It's like literally copying the text from YouTube and putting it over into a document here. It completely cut off the name, so sorry DB Bricks, but go check out DB Bricks. Feel free to link your channel down below, and if anybody's in the UK, we'll try to get you some Lego buyers. He says, Greg, just want to let you know how much your talks mean to another father out here. It really helps ease the stress of daily life. Please keep it up. Thanks, man. I also be honest, I don't like where YouTube's going with the ads. I talked earlier about how they're going to be putting ads starting in November. They call it a streamlined approach to ads, which essentially means they're kind of overriding creator plans for ads and putting ads everywhere and anywhere, and possibly in the middle of my podcast, which I don't love. And I'm going to encourage more people to listen to it in audio, even though like we'll never be able to buy a new microphone that way. But he says, I actually go over to your YouTube channel just to hit the thumbs up button. I actively listen to all your audio versions through Google Podcasts. I wish there was some way to thumbs up those feeds as well, but I guess a complete with a check mark counts as well, ? Again, you're doing amazing, inspiring work. Thank you. I don't know. I don't know anything that comes from Apple or Google. I think the only thing that really matters on Apple is if you rate it 5 stars and review it. That really doesn't matter to me. As long as you're listening and you're getting something out of this, even if it's just like keeping your mind occupied for a little bit, that's pretty darn cool. Oh, I do have one more thing. Speaking of keeping your mind occupied, before we read the last comment here, which is from Ray, our most encouraging person of all time on every single video that we do. Like Ray keeps the wheels moving for me. But I got to talk to you about this weird thing that I'm doing now with my mind. I'm getting into these dreams in the middle of the night. This is like, if anybody's stuck around at this point, you wow, I'm impressed. Okay. But I'm having these dreams where I'm like facing some type of struggle. Like one, I was like going to be the first person to go to Mars, but then something bad happened. And then the other one I remember even more vividly was I was going down this whitewater rafting type situation, but it was in like a canal and there was people all around the sides, and someone like offered to like hold my phone and all of my stuff. And I thought they were from like our group. So I handed him everything. And then when we got to the end of it, the guy was like, no, that he wasn't with us. That was a scammer. And I realized then, and I left my phone, which had all of our vacation videos that I've recorded to that point on there. And instead of like trying to resolve this situation, figure out how I'm going to get out of it, I decided that I was going to wake up. And I did. It was like 1:00 in the morning. And I woke up and I was like, had this relief that I didn't have to deal with that problem. And I don't know what this means. And the same thing happened to me with the Mars mission thing. I was going to be the first person to go to Mars, but I was a teenager and I was going with a kid that was in my middle school. And we were going to, like, I still remember the kid. His name's Eric. And we were going to go to Mars on like a mission to be the first people on Mars. And then they had like jobs for us there. And I remember like questioning, like, is this more dangerous than climbing Mount Everest? And I was debating it, but then like something went wrong. And instead of dealing with that, I woke up too. So what does that mean for my real life? Do I try to not deal with problems that I'm having? Or does it mean that I have complete control? Like that's what Cody said. I told her about this. She's like, well, you just control everything, don't you? And I was like, yeah, I guess I do. Like, oh, this bad thing happened. Okay, let's just wake up. Let's get out of this. Change the channel. I don't know. Has anyone ever had dreams like that where you can just like get out of it if you need to? Because she was talking about having this dream where she was being kidnapped and was trying to like get on her iPhone or try to unlock it, and she couldn't. She should have got the 15 Pro. But she was trying to do that and like struggling like crazy with it. And I'm just like, nope, I'm noping out of this. I'm waking up. So that was my weird thing of the week. I guess that'll be a new segment here. If you have any weird things of the week you'd like to share, throw them out there because that makes things fun. Let's read Ray's comment and send this off with like some extreme positivity and niceness from a gentleman out there. He says, "Good Sunday morning, Greg. I'm really enjoying." I'm going to give him like an accent. "Good Sunday morning, Greg. I'm really enjoying these Sunday visits with you. Everything in life," I'm not going to do that. "Everything in life should be about moving forward." He just unsubscribed. "Should be about moving forward and helping others around us. From this, you will find fulfillment and joy. Even if it's a Bricklink store, from the right person, DB Bricks. Your love of Lego, RC, and gaming is giving Clark an opportunity to build a diverse foundation. Building his own mocks brings out the creative process and enhances hand-eye development. You're doing these adventures with him not only shows him that he's loved and valued, it gives him so much to look forward to. He is such a happy kid because of you, Cody, and the extended family. Buy, build, and sell would be a great service for your subscribers. They get to try before they buy. One last thing. Consider donating some of the stored-away Lego sets to a local children's hospital or women's shelters. They definitely would appreciate them. Thanks as always for a great podcast. Enjoy the week with that fun family." Well, thank you, Ray. I think you have great points there. As any parent out there, I think it's good that you try to do as much as you can with your kid. Again, and I've talked about this before, I learned from my parents. Sometimes you learn how not to do things. And that's when I always say I give advice, I like to try to give you advice on things I've done wrong so you can avoid that, because who knows what's right and what's wrong. But I know, like, I didn't really love not doing anything when I was growing up. My parents didn't put any time in me, so I tried to do the opposite. And I don't know why you wouldn't want to do that. The most fun that I have, like tomorrow, the reason I'm recording this today is because I don't want to take time out of my day tomorrow, because that's a day with me and Clark. And we're going to have a blast. We're going to have a whole day together. And I'm like greatly looking forward to that. And I couldn't imagine like him just being home from school and I'm like, "Hey, just go do something. I'm going to be doing something too." No, dude, we're going to be having fun. And like having fun is the most important thing. Cause I think about the fact that like 8 years from now, Clark Man's going to be a grown dude. Like he's going to be 18 years old. You think he's going to be moving on with his life. I'm hoping he still wants me in it and we can still have these experiences, but like now is the time. And I got to soak all this in. I think about that with Roxy Bear, who is, she's right back there. You can't see her because she's like, she's brown. We're trying to do the pointing thing again. But every time I go for a walk, I'm just like, even if we walk uphill for a mile, I'm just like, man, I'm so thankful that I'm getting this experience. I'm glad that she's still with us. I'm glad that Clark Man's still with us. I'm glad that you're still with us. If you're still listening to this, I appreciate that. Like, this is a commitment to sit down and listen to someone talk for an hour or so. We're going to be under at this week about their week in life. And I guess my one thing that I do worry about sometimes, just like in the No 0 Days thing, is like, is this worth listening to? Is this like, obviously not groundbreaking, but is there something here that someone can get something from? And the reason that I read these comments publicly here is because that is what's happening. Whether I hear from you or not, obviously there's a lot of people listening to this every week, relatively. I hope that there's something that you're getting from this. If you're tuning in, like, I'm just glad that you allow me to be a part of your life. And I'm hoping I'm fulfilling something for you, because there are things out there that I listen to each week that really means a lot to me that I get to tune into. And it becomes like a comfort thing, you know, like a podcast that comes out on a certain day of the week, or like I'm a subscriber on Patreon to a guy that does these exclusive vlogs. And it's like, I love listening to that each week and like listening to that while I'm doing something else. I just love it. And I think showing up each week and being consistent with it is really cool for people out there. And I like to give back what I can, you know. So I appreciate you all tuning into this. I think Ray has some great plans there. If I donate stuff, it usually goes to the American Rescue Workers is where I donate. That's we do clothes, toys, all of our stuff. In fact, it's really cool because they do home pickups. So if you don't want to, this is kind of a side tangent to what I was just talking about, but if you have some stuff in your house, I know we've been talking about, is it serving you? If you have some things in your house that maybe you don't feel like listening on eBay, you got a life, you got kids, you got job, all this stuff, you don't have time for that. Maybe it's not worth anything to you. You call American Rescue Workers. I'm assuming they're everywhere. And just be like, hey, I've got a home pickup. You leave a box outside your house, they'll pick it up on the day you're at work. And then it goes off, and then they can give it to people that are in need. It's a little bit better than Goodwill, because I think Goodwill is more of like a for-profit. They make it seem like they're not, but, you know, if you've seen the prices there, because I watch people shop there online, or I watch people shop there on YouTube, the prices seem like they're a little crazy. So that's what we do. In fact, I have a whole thing of non-Lego that's kind of piling up, and I was going to put that on eBay, but why not just donate that? I'm just going to keep stacking it up, and then some kid will have a blast with that bucket. Even if it's not Lego, somebody will appreciate it that's not a Lego snob like myself. So I guess on that, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Missing Pieces. We'll be back again next week, same time, same place, although not necessarily for me because it'll be a Friday episode, I think. I think we're back to the regular flow of things. So hope you have a glorious week. Make it the best one of your life. If you have a goal out there, I try to pitch you on this. If you have a goal, try to take a little step to get towards it, regardless of what it is. Just like one little step, and you'd be surprised over all these weeks. Surprised how close you can get to that thing. You never know. So, thank you for tuning in, and as always, we'll find you in the next Missing Pieces. Pieces.